They didn't know where they were going, what was going to happen to them, or if they would ever return home again. So we're going to be tracing their steps, same people who were forced out of their homes and then going to Manzanar and going to the other 10 or 9 war relocation administration camps.
In regards to, like Andy was mentioning, things like the Muslim ban, even the border wall, and a lot of issues that surround minority communities of color and immigrant communities in the United States. So for us to come out with our allies and experience something like this is really important to remind us of why we do the work that we do and who we represent when we do this work. So I'm really grateful for this opportunity to come out, and thank you.
My husband's actually Muslim, so there's that connection directly. I'm Jewish, so I connect to that in my own right. But just to be able to go on this is incredible. So thank you so much to the committee.
So I always knew I loved history. I couldn't figure out what aspect of history I loved, and I couldn't pinpoint that until I learned about Japanese internment, because I grew up not seeing myself in the history books, not seeing other Asian Americans or understanding our experiences. And Japanese internment is such a huge aspect of Asian American history. And I'm really honored to be a part of this trip as a Filipino American and learn about the experiences of Japanese Americans. And even though historically that relationship is a little bit complicated, I really hope to build solidarity for the future and change the way history has written our relationship with each other.
My name is Basil Malkara, and after 9/11, realized that Japanese Americans were physically interned during World War II. After 9/11, the Muslim community was psychologically interned, and no one understood it better than our Japanese American brothers and sisters in JCL. And I'll never forget in Santa Clara, in the Bay Area, the Islamic school there, Granada Islamic School, had JCL had plastered all the windows leading into the school with origami, and it was a really powerful symbol of solidarity. And then when I moved to Sacramento, our friends from JCL were there every step of the way, every challenge we faced. When a mosque was vandalized, it was law enforcement, hazmat, and the Noguchis. The Noguchis were always there. Anytime something happened, Florin JCL and the Noguchis were there to have our back and support us.
My family was incarcerated at Amachi and also Jerome. So my family was incarcerated, but I didn't hear anything about their experience. My grandma talked a little bit about it, but she was 3, so she didn't remember anything. So I just really hope to gain a better understanding of what life was like at camp. That shared human experience, and just understanding that suffering and making sure that history doesn't repeat itself again.
I think because I didn't realize there had ever been incarceration like this before. I had always grown up thinking it couldn't happen in America. And my mom was born and raised in Hawaii, and she was there when Pearl Harbor was bombed. I don't even know if she knew about the incarceration, because I don't think they put all the Japanese people in camps there. But so maybe I can't blame her for not telling me about that. But I'm hoping on this trip just to get more of an understanding, just to kind of be there and kind of honor the suffering that people went through at that time that they didn't deserve.
So I'm Titus Toyama, from 3rd generation Japanese American Sansei from Los Angeles, born and raised in East LA. This is my 7th trip, and every time I come on this trip, I learn something new. And so my expectation is that this time I will learn something new about Manzanar. I mean, one year I learned that I had an aunt and uncle who were incarcerated at Manzanar, and their names are on the listing at the museum. And the second year, I learned that I have an uncle who's a minister, and I learned that he did some ministering with a Free Methodist church here at Manzanar, and his picture is actually in the barrack. And so I hope to learn something new about Manzanar, about my family on this my 7th trip. And by the way, this is the 50th anniversary of the pilgrimage. And so we expect a lot more people this year at special activities, including a phenomenal guest speaker.
I had an incident which was related to me by my parents. Apparently after a school session, I went with a friend to his apartment. Well, there's no telephone to tell him, where I was. And being a first grader, he had no conception of time. And apparently I did not get home till quite late. Found that my parents were frantically looking for me during this time. And ever since then, I never did that again.
So you always check in with Christine. Don't disappear, Stan.
I was 10 years old when I went into late, and it was difficult because even walking to the school was difficult because there were dust storms all the time, and I happened to get some sand into my eyes and contracted a disease called trachoma, which is a third world disease, and I had bumps on the top of my lid. And so before school, I had to go to the hospital, and they scraped it off. And that's before I went to school. It was and there were a lot of scorpions in Tule Lake as well. So you have to watch if you sit down on a rock or anything. There might be a scorpion under, somewhere.
Her family, they had a family of, I think they had 4 or 5 kids. And so they were on one side, and so they were separated by a blanket, and then my parents were lucky, they got the other half, just the 2 of them, and then with that they produced two daughters. That's my sister.
Despite those extraneous circumstances, 2 daughters magically appeared.
Why are you filming everything?
I'm not filming everything.